brief overview of crucial conversations. We hope that you find this helpful, and I will leave you now with our speaker, Mr. William O'Neill.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is William O'Neill, as stated. If someone will confirm, can you all see my screen? Can you all see the screen there? Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm glad that the participants, I had a few to raise your hands because that lets me know I can see your responses as well. Awesome. Well, you all, I'm a transplant from Birmingham, Alabama, but I am currently seated in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a pleasure to be with you all today. As I tell everyone, I relocated to Atlanta from Birmingham because I'm a very good communicator and I'm a very smart man. That's why I came to Atlanta. I married a Georgia peach who wanted to come home, and being the smart communicator I am, I said, yes, dear. So you all know I know how to have a crucial conversation. So you all, I know something about everybody on this call, and it is this. There is truly greatness within you because you have something to give, and I hope you never forget it, never forget it. And that is the way to greatness, and that is by serving. And thank you all so much for the services that you all provide in the realm that you do, because I think healthcare produces angels in our community, and you all are part of helping to produce those angels. Okay, you all, so here's what I want to do. I think I have about 40 to 45 minutes to give you all an overview of crucial conversations. And I must say this, with my many years of training. I've got over 30 years in human resources, graduated from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, served for 10 years in their HR division, Children's of Alabama, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and more recently, I've got about 15 years with Emory University, where I lead the Essentials of Leadership program. And in all of my years, you all, this is, Crucial Conversations is the greatest program ever produced for corporate, if you ask me. I don't think there's anything greater when it comes to helping people to be effective in communication. Now, what I'd like for you all to do, I'm looking at my chat window, Since we're talking about crucial conversations, I want to ask you all something, everyone on the call. If you all in the chat window will share, think about when you were a child, what kinds of things did you do when things were not going your way, when you wanted to get your way as a child, whether with your siblings, with your parents, what are some things you tried to do to get your way? All righty, I see some answers coming in. Stomp my feet, pout, cry. Yes, yes. I see you all. And if you all can, I don't know if you all can unmute, if it's possible. Feel free to shout it out that way if you can. But it may be disabled. So I'll go with the cry. Yes, yes, yes. Anybody else? I need one or two more because I've got something to share with you. I've got something to share with you. Okay, I see pouch up my, okay, oh, there they are. There we go. I've got more coming in there. Cry. Find someone who would agree with me. Negotiate. I love that one. Okay, okay. So here, let me ask you all if you all agree that it can be summed up in this way. Oftentimes, when we were not or are not using dialogue, we choose silence. And that's where we go quiet and say nothing, hoping that people will notice our withdrawal from them, to verbal violence, where we just really push for our way. Thumbs up if you agree that it can be summed up that way. Silence or verbal violence. Or let's go back. Now, some of y'all are using the hands raised. That one will stay up. But if you use maybe the thumbs up, or another one of the reactions, they will go away afterwards. Yes, Marianne, I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let me show you all something. I'm going to, move some of these around here. What I want to do is walk you all through this crucial conversations model. And what I really would like to encourage you all to do is at your earliest convenience, grab a copy of Crucial Conversations. This not only has the ability to help you in your business functions, but also to save a marriage. I had someone to stop me in the halls of Emory University, a gentleman who had gone through one of my classes, and he and his wife were headed to the benefits department to square away some things with regard to their benefits. And he called me over. He said, "William, come here." And he introduced me to his wife. He said, "Babe, I want you to meet this guy. This is William O'Neill. This is the man that saved our marriage." Because he had gone through Crucial Conversations and understood that a great communicator, y'all might want to write this one down, a great communicator does not seek to win arguments. A great communicator does not seek to win arguments. A great communicator seeks to achieve great results. And that's what Crucial Conversations gives you the ability to do, to achieve great results, not to go to silence and violence, which don't help you to achieve great results and does not get you to dialogue, but to help you to influence your own behavior, therefore, and thereby also influencing the behavior of the other person that you would want to join you in dialogue. Now, here's something. I hope this doesn't disappoint anyone. This course does not give you a magic wand that you can wave over people and make them do what you want them to do. Neither does it give you pixie dust that allows you to sprinkle over people that will cause them to do what you want them to do. What it does is gives you the ability to influence your behavior and also influence their behavior and encourage them to join you in dialogue so that you two together can achieve what you want. Okay, here we go. So, what I'm going to do is work my way around this model to help you all to understand what you will get when you either go through the class or when you read the book. And at this moment, I won't be able to read all of the comments. I'm going to peek every now and then. But my co-moderators, if you all see something juicy, would you all be willing to jump right in and tell me, just shout it out loud, because I don't think the participants can speak. Their mics are muted. So feel free to jump in there and help me out to capture some of this. Here we go. So starting out here at the top of the model, get unstuck. Getting unstuck. Here is the law of Crucial Conversations, you all. This is the law of Crucial Conversations. I'd like to see if you all agree with me. Anytime you find yourself stuck, there's either a crucial conversation that you're either not holding with that other person or persons, or not holding well. Would you all agree that there's a conversation that you're either not holding or not holding well? Thumbs up if you agree. Thumbs up if you agree. Okay, I got a hand up. Okay, all righty. All right. Okay, I see you. I see you, Jennifer. I see you, Marianne. I see you, Celeste. I think it's Celeste. I think if I'm pronouncing your name right, Brittany. Okay, so here's the question then. And I'm looking at the chat now. Here's the question. Can you all tell me, why do we not hold these crucial conversations that we really need to hold with the other person? Or why do we not hold them well? Aimed at the chat so I can see a few of your comments. Fear. Oh, yes, that's big. That's huge. Yes. They're uncomfortable. Yes. Afraid of the conflict. Yes. They are awkward. Fear, conflict avoidance. Yes. Emotional issues. Yes. All of that. Ego can be in there as well. Sometimes fear of rejection. Yes. So you all of that is true. Now, here's the thing. That's why Crucial Conversations is so important, because it helps you to prepare yourself for this tough conversation. And then it also prepares you to help the other person join you in this conversation. So with the Get Unstuck, what you learn in this course is to use CPR, content, pattern, and relationship, so that you are able to consider the conversation that you really need to have. Do I need to have a conversation with them about what they did or said, the content? Or is the content not the issue, but the fact that it happens so repeatedly? It happens over and over again. So now it's a pattern of behavior that I really need to have a conversation with them about. Or is it, I really need to have a conversation with them about how this is impacting our relationship? Because sometimes if you're working on a project with someone and they are perhaps not pulling their weight, or you have concerns about their current level of competence with regard to their skill level to pull off the part of the project that they're responsible for. Do you think you can really have that conversation with them? And the answer is, well, I'll wait on you all. Do you think that you can have an honest conversation, be honest and kind, candid and respectful with someone about a issue, including up to maybe their current level of competence? I'm waiting on you all's responses in the chat there. Do you think it's possible? I see you coming in there. Oh, yes, I try. Oh, I like that, Julie. I try. Okay, so yes, this content helps us to understand that it is possible to be honest and kind. It is possible to be candid and respectful. But we've got to be conscious of what will possibly impede our ability so that we can move these conversations forward. So I'm going to move here, if you all can see my pointer. I'm going to move from get unstuck. Get unstuck is we look behind this issue where we're non-productive. Any issue where we're not getting the results we want, or we're getting these poor results over and over, we're going to look back there and we're going to use CPR. What is that conversation, awkward or difficult as it may be, that I really need to have with this person or persons? But then before you open your mouth, before you ever say anything to them, you've got to do this part right here. Master your stories. Master your stories. Can someone just briefly throw up in the chat why you think controlling the stories that are running through your head are so important before you open your mouth? Can someone chat about that right quick? Why do you think it's so important for you to take control of the stories running through your head? Removing judgment and bias. Oh, wow. Okay, a high five for you. Okay, I think that's Allie that I saw. High five for you. Yes, credibility, so that you don't say something you will regret. Yes, that's Carrie, so that you don't DMX it, right? Y'all gonna make me, somebody finish that for me in the chat. Y'all gonna make me, I'll wait on you, I'll wait on you. Anybody know that song? There we go. Lose my mind up in here, up in here. So we've got to make sure we don't DMX it and lose our mind, go all out up in here, up in here. We've got to make sure that we are suspending judgments, because watch this, you all. Your emotions don't, Marianne, your emotions don't care about truth. Your emotions will go with whatever stories you believe. If you believe that story, your emotions are going to go right with you. So you've got to master the stories in order for you to be able to hold your composure long enough to be able to manage to have this crucial conversation, or else you're going to be part of the problem and not part of the solution. So here's what Crucial Conversations teaches us in the part about mastering our stories. You all might want to write this down. There are 3 clever stories that you tell yourself when you are pinched by the feedback of someone else, or when you feel like, watch this, you all, they don't care about your purposes or your goals, or you feel like they have just disrespected you. Okay, so there are 3 clever stories that you will tell yourself. Clever story number 1, that you are an innocent victim. Then story number 2, they are a villain. And story number 3, that you are helpless. You've got to go silent or violent. And that is not the truth. You can turn yourself from being or feeling like you are a victim by asking yourself, what did I do to contribute to this moment? Is there anything that I've done that, or is there anything that I did not do that allowed for this moment to happen? Okay. Now, keep in mind, these are simply for the purpose of you controlling your mind so that you can engage in dialogue and not lose your mind, go all out, and act a fool up in here. So the goal is for you to say, if you feel like a victim, what did I do to contribute to this? If you feel like they're a villain, ask yourself, why would a reasonable, rational, decent person do what they did or say what they have just said? And then the last thing, what must I do to move towards what I really want? And this gives you agency so that you don't see yourself as a villain, see them as a victim, and yourself as helpless. Because watch this, you all. If you see yourself as a victim and them as a villain, then you're going to go silent or violent because the smart thing to do in that moment would be to escape the victim, or you would be heroic by attacking the villain. So you want to make sure that you're not seeing yourself as a victim, escape the villain or attack the villain. So you want to make sure you don't do that. All right, I'm going to move on because my time is short. This is a 2-day course, 2 8-hour day course, and you would get practice. If you would attend the class, you'd get to practice these skills, and you get to see a lot of great videos that help you to really soak in and understand the content. So now you still have not opened your mouth yet, but we're gonna come down here to the start with heart part. Start with heart. Start with heart means that you've got to understand for yourself what is your true objective. What do you really want? What is your good intent here? I'll pause while you all write that down. What is my good intent? You've got to understand that. What do you want for yourself, for the other person, for your team, for your customer? What do you want for this relationship? Think about what your real good intent is. And then you've got to be able to express your good intent to the other person so that you can prepare them for this tough conversation that you're about to have, or this crucial conversation that you're about to have. So you've got to understand what it is that you really want. Because if you want to win, you want to punish them, you want to get even, all of those will taint your behavior, because keep in mind, this is how your behavior arrives. Okay, going back to mastering your stories. When you see and hear something, you tell yourself a story about it. And when you tell yourself a story about it, then you get the emotions for free. You can't control your emotions. Somebody might want to write that down. You can't control your emotions. So at best, you can create new ones, okay, by creating new stories. So you see and hear something. Those are the facts. You tell yourself a story about it. Then you feel some kind of way about it. And after that, you behave a certain way. So, I was facilitating this class at Emory University in one of my programs, and a young lady raised her hand and made this observation. Watch this. You all might want to capture this. And I've been quoting her ever since. She said, "One of us can save both of us." Wow. I loved it. I loved it. She said, one of us who has the presence of mind to understand what's happening in the moment can save both of us. So you can tap down those emotions by creating stories that will cause you to want to return to healthy dialogue. So you start with heart by first thinking about, what is my good intent here? What do I really want? And then sharing with the other person your good intent. All right, I'm going to move it right along so that we can move forward, because I do want to take questions. I want to open it up for questions. So as you all are capturing your notes, and I'm going to ask one of the moderators to help me to select some of the questions to answer. And I want to apologize in advance, because of the shortness of time, we may not be able to answer all questions, but we're going to try to see if we can answer those ones that are like, or answer one time those that are fitting in the same category. So next, here's where you get to open your mouth. Here's where you get to speak. And somebody finish this for me. It's not what you say, but I'll wait. I'll wait. It's not what you say, but
How you say it.
yes, thank you so much. How you say it. So thank you all. I see you all. So state my path gives you the best possible way to start a crucial conversation with someone that you want to help understand why a reasonable, rational, decent person like yourself has this particular concern that you're about to bring up. So capture this right quick. You want to state your path by first stating the facts that you've observed. Don't tell your story first. And definitely don't tell a victim, villain, and helpless story. You're supposed to have these behind you at this point. You're not seeing yourself as a victim, them as a villain, and yourself as helpless. You want to help them to understand how you perceived what just happened or what has been happening. Okay, so you want to start with the facts, state the facts. Can somebody say in the chat, why do you start with the facts? Why do you start with the facts? Why do you state the facts first and not your story? What's the danger? Okay. Levels the playing field. Yes. Focus. Common ground that you agree on. It takes them. Oh, yes. It takes the emotion out of it. I'm loving this. I wish we were present together, you all, because I learned from you all just like I share. So, but you all are doing a great job using the chat here. Not make it about yourself. Yes. You start out with those facts. Tell them what you saw and heard. Thank you all so much. Then you share your story, okay? Tell them how you saw it. And again, this is not a victim, villain, or helpless story. You tell them your story as to how you are viewing these facts. And after that, you ask them for their perception or how they see it. Now, I want to go back and ask you all this question. After you share the facts, why is it that you should even have to share your story? Shouldn't they get it? Shouldn't they get it? Why do you even have to tell your story? You stated the facts of what you observed. Why do you need to tell your story? Any thoughts there? Okay, to share your point of view. This affects the team by, yes, I love the way you frame that. Yes. Sometimes, let's see, the goal is not is necessarily to be right. We don't want to push that. What we want to do is tell our story so that they can understand. And if we're right, there we go. I want to put that in there. If we're right, they can validate. But if we're off, they can confirm what the real story is. Listening skills, yes, yes. So they know why I'm unhappy or why this is bothering me. Tell your story to break down barriers in communication. Yes, because we don't know what's going on in one another's heads. So what we do is we get a chance to watch this. Y'all see this center area? This is what the Crucial Learning Organization calls the pool of shared meaning. If you've drawn this diagram for yourself, you can also, I would write under it to take these fancy words and boil them down to dialogue. This is just a fancy way of saying dialogue because the goal is not for me to win an argument against them. The goal is for me to get to dialogue with them so that together we can figure out what we want to do about this. Now, I want to explain these lines right here. Okay, so if you don't if you don't manage these skills where you control yourself and your stories and help them to understand what your real intent is, what it's going to cause is them to swing into silence and violence. And if you see them as a villain, then it's going to cause you to swing into silence or violence. And in freshman psychology, y'all remember what we call silence and violence? Anybody remember freshman psychology? Where the gazelle is in the woods and it's being attacked, and it's got two options, and it takes, there we go, fight or flight. So this is, thank you, Brittany. This is just their fancy way of saying we swing into fight or flight mode. But when we can make it safe, we squeeze out the need for silence and violence or fight or flight, and then we can get to dialogue safely. Now, again, I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to come up with an agreement with you as to what do we want to do about this. All righty. So you state your path. You start with the facts. You tell your story from your perspective, and then you ask. Ask for their perspective, or ask for their path, as this content calls it. Ask for their path. So now, why do you want to? You set up this perfect case, right? You've litigated this case. You've shared the facts. Now you've told your story. Why do you want to give them an opportunity to rebut your story? Why do you ask them for their story, their path? I'm watching the chat. Why do you ask them to share their perspective after you've litigated this case and set up this perfect thing here? Make sure that let me see here. Oh, covered up. There we go. Okay. Okay. So you want to make sure they understand the issue from your perspective. Part of sharing dialogue. Yes, come on. That's a high five right there. To understand their side, to understand, yes, understand their side. Be fair. Both parties get on the same page and get to the same understanding. Thank you for that. And that's the goal, because I'm not trying to control them. I'm trying to get to dialogue with them. So now, here we go. Make it safe. You all, this time is moving so fast. The next skill that you want to use in crucial conversations, when you are stating your path, you want to make it safe for them to engage in dialogue with you. Please write this down. I said it earlier, but I want to really punctuate it this time. There are two reasons why people don't feel safe with you and will swing into silence and violence. They feel like you just disrespected them, or they feel like you don't care about what's important to them, their goals. Okay, so you want to dispel that in their mind by affirming that you do respect them and that you do care about what's important to them. So now, okay, you all, I'm going to make time for this, because this is one of the greatest skills of the Crucial Conversations class here. When a person misunderstands you, you may say something and they hear it a different way, and they feel like you are trying to undermine them, or they feel like you were trying to disrespect them, but that's not what you were trying to do at all. In the class, there's one case scenario we used where a manager or leader was starting to share that he had concerns, or she had concerns about a team member's part of the project. But before they could finish, the team member got offended and said, well, you don't come in on time with your projects either, you know. But it wasn't that they were trying to point fingers at the team member. It was that they noticed what vendors the team member was using, and they know they've had some problems with those vendors. So before they could get to that part, that person was offended and really cut them with their comments, right? So either you can respond to that or you can react to that. If you really want to get to dialogue, instead of cutting them back, you can come back with this contrasting skill. Here it is, you all. Contrasting. Tell them what you do not intend first, then tell them what you do intend, so that they can hear a different song in their head. They can hear a different story in their head that will change the emotional swing that they just had by their misunderstanding of what they thought you were saying. Okay, here's something free for you. Please write this down. Thoughts are electrical, emotions are chemical. Okay, so when someone has a thought, it triggers endorphins or cortisol. So when they are having these thoughts, that they are being disrespected or that they are that you don't care about them, you want to quickly come back and say, oh, I don't want you to think, tell them what you don't. I don't want you to think that I was trying to say that I don't trust you and your team. That's not what I was saying at all. What I was really trying to communicate is that I have concerns about some of the vendors that you have selected. Can we talk about it? And now that person can calm down without you saying calm down. What happens if you tell them to calm down? That can go wrong, right? That can go wrong. And here's a thought, you all. This whole course is empathy on steroids. It's teaching us to, as Stephen Covey says in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, to seek first to understand, then to be understood. Alrighty, so you want to make it safe by contrasting. Now, remember I said that there are two reasons why people feel unsafe with you. One is they feel like they've been disrespected by you, and two, they feel like you don't care about their purpose. But what happens if you do have cross purposes? In just a moment, I'm going to share with you all a skill for helping them to understand that I do have the same purpose as you, and or I don't, but can we create something that works for the both of us? So let's move right along. And please grab your questions because I'm winding down and I'm going to leave the last part of this time together for questions. So next, you want to learn to look, okay? All righty, because you're trying to get your meaning into the pool of shared meaning or into the dialogue. But watch this, you all. Just as vigorous as you are about getting your meaning into the pool of shared meaning or your text into the dialogue or your information into the dialogue, you want to be just as vigorous about getting them to share their perspective. I pause so that we can all hear that. So just like we want to get our meaning into the pool, we want to help get their meaning into the pool. Okay? Because even the person that you married, you can get frustrated with them when things don't seem to be going the way you thought they would, or you feel violated by them. They don't care about your purposes or what you want to achieve. Where we're going to dinner, they picked it the last 4 times, or you don't feel like they respect you. So when these moments happen, we have to clear them up. One, we have to apologize if we really did disrespect a person, because sometimes we do. Is there anyone on this call who has ever said words you wish you could get back? Just a thumbs up. You said some words when you were frustrated that you wish you could get back. Okay, yeah, yeah. We've done it. We do it because it's our power in the moment. We feel like, okay, you cut me, I'm going to cut you. Well, what would happen if we were sensitive enough to see their reaction? Watch this, you all. See their reaction and use it as let me use some of y'all's medical terms, as a diagnosis. I was teaching customer service training to a group of physicians once, and I was talking to them about the importance of building rapport with your patients. And one of the physicians, he raised his hand and he said, William, let me show you how I understand the importance of that. He says, when I go into my patients' rooms, and he was a pediatric physician, he says, I will often lower my chair. Psst. Can anybody tell me what was the value of him lowering his chair when he entered that room? Watching the chat. Why would he lower his chair? Same level as the pediatric patient? Yes, yes, yes. And here, and yes, to be able to see the patient eye to eye. Yes. He said this, even with the parents and adult patients, he understood, yes, that level of authority or that white jacket, his degree caused some people to be intimidated by him. And he made it clear that he didn't go to college and become a physician to be arrogant. He did this to serve his community. And he said that what he would do is create that balance of power so that they would share with him. Because he said, I have the knowledge of being a physician. What I'm missing is the information about their condition. And if I don't get this information, I will misdiagnose them. And if I misdiagnose them, I will mistreat them. Wow. Wow. And see, this is what happens when we are in crucial conversations. Sometimes we might misdiagnose the other person. And when we misdiagnose them, we also react to them and may even mistreat them in the moment. Here's a great one-liner, you all. Sometimes people who need love the most, in the corporate world, we call it respect. Sometimes people who need love the most, they will ask for it in the most unloving way, because under that pressure, they react. Remember, one of us can save both of us. So when we learn to look and see when they're reacting in certain ways, that says that they are afraid. And even people who have more power than you can be afraid of you or fear you and intimidated by you. So what you want to do is make them feel safe, but you've got to notice that the conditions of safety are at risk by their action. Let me see some of your reactions when you feel unsafe. What are some behaviors that are displayed that are produced through your body? What are some things when you are feeling unsafe in a conversation? Okay. Some people sweat, yes. Shy away, head down, across arms, freeze. Let's see, neck get red. I've heard of that. I've seen that. Fidget hands, no eye contact. Thank you all so much for those. And this is what happens to you because of that chemical reaction that's happening in your body as a result of the triggers and the thoughts that you're having. So just like you can see it in yourself, for yourself, you can go back to Master My Stories and calm yourself down. But when you see it in them, you've got to learn how to use these skills of contrasting and apologizing and clarifying so that they will understand that you're not attacking them. You really want to dialogue with them to figure out how we can figure out what will be best for us. Next, you all, the next skill that you have to use is seeking mutual purpose. Seeking mutual purpose. So if a leader doesn't trust you, you'll, and I can say this, I'd like to share this with you all. I have become, in many cases, throughout my career, a coach to many of my leaders, if that makes sense, provided if they take my advice, I don't make them feel like they're any less my leader. So a lot of leaders have trusted me to be a voice to them. And they would be willing, in some cases, even to shift their approach or their path to action at some advice that I might share when I'm able to share with them value that comes along with this advice. Here, I'm going to give you all this for free, and I'm watching my time. If I ask every single one of you all to hand me a $20 bill and trade for what I have in my hand, but I don't show you what's in my hand, how many of you all will trade me that $20 you have for what's in my hand? Is there anyone? You can give a thumbs down. I won't be offended if it's a thumbs down. I don't tell you what's in my hand, but I ask you for your $20 for what's in my hand. Anybody trading with me? Give your honest opinion. You know the value of your 20. Oh, here we go. I see the answers rolling in here. Nope. Okay. Why? Because you know the value of your 20, but you don't know the value of what's in my hand. But when you can share with your leaders the value that would be added to them as a result of what you're trying to offer, and without fear, you don't have to cause them to fear you. You can share it as a potential opportunity, then they will listen to you and may even take that option because they see the value now. But what's in my hand is always more valuable than what I don't understand. Oh, that was good. I might write that down myself. Somebody capture that for me. So here's the goal. We want to make sure that we learn to look and see when that other person is feeling like um, their safety is at risk. And a leader that's more powerful than you will use their power with you when they trust you and they feel safe with you, but they will use it against you if they don't feel safe with you. All righty, so we want to learn to look. In the class, you get an opportunity to take an assessment as to how do you respond when you feel safety is at risk and see whether you have a tendency for silence or violence. Then again, when you seek that mutual purpose, you can come together and create a mutual purpose if you don't have one. Sometimes we find that we're arguing about strategy rather than purpose. So what you want to do is make sure that you are seeing what it is that other person is really trying to achieve. Ask them, take a moment and ask them, what is it that you're trying to achieve and why do you want that? And then say, what else? What else? What else? And then once you've heard them, because it's easier to influence people with your ears than with your mouth. Once you've heard them, then they'd be open to hearing from you. And then you can share, well, what I'm trying to achieve is this. For example, my wife and I, we were buying our third house. So at this point, we were preparing to purchase, and there was something I wanted in the house that didn't matter to my wife. I wanted a basement. She didn't care. She was good with a ranch and possibly maybe a second level with a bedroom or two, but didn't have to have it. Everything could be on one level. But when I shared with her, and keep in mind that a basement comes with a little bit more cost when there's a bill there. So when I was able to share with her that when I grew up, we had a basement for storms, for a storm shelter. And I like having that so that if there's a storm coming, we could take the kids, we as a family can go there to wait out the storm. So now she understands. So we start sharing what it is we want in this thing. So if she's found a house over here, I found a house over here that I like, she's found one over here, then there's a third option, you all, to come up with something that is has everything that we're both looking for or something that we both want, so we can create a mutual purpose. But I'll save some of that for the next time we're possibly together. And then also the last thing is you want to explore their path. Okay, so now here's the thought. If they're not giving you anything, because sometimes people shut down. Sometimes people sit down. Anybody ever had a person thumbs up that when you start talking about tough subject matters, they don't say anything. They just kind of shy away and say, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine. Okay. Here's the thought. What you can do for them is use what is called AMP. The first thing you want to do is ask them what it is that is bothering them. The second thing you can do is paraphrase if they give you a little something, and then prime if if they don't give you anything. You pour something in. You share with them a tough matter that you think might be the issue, but then be okay with them agreeing with you. Don't say, you got a problem with me? No, don't ask it like that, but say, was it something that I said between our meeting and when we went to lunch? Is it something that I said during that time that bothered you? And make it safe for them to agree. They agree, then you can say what you think it might be, and then they come on out, and don't punish them for sharing their honest opinion. Then you work through that to figure out what you want to achieve together. Apologize if it's required. You can contrast if that's needed, or you can seek a mutual purpose if that's needed to make it safe so that you can get back to dialogue. And then the last thing you want to do, you all, and then I'm going to open it for questions. You want to move to action. The goal is not to have a beautiful conversation and no action. So at the end of this, you've had this dialogue, you've agreed to something. You want to agree to who's going to do what, by when, and how will we follow up with one another? Because change is hard, you all, and sometimes it's difficult and old habits die hard. So you want to follow up with one another in a safe space so that you can hold one another accountable to this shift, this change, this agreement that we're moving towards. All right, you all. So that is Crucial Conversations in an overview. Now I want to open it up and moderators, if you all will help me with this, to any questions that I might be able to answer for you all or fill any gaps with regard to the content that you all might have. What are your thoughts? I'm watching the chat and I'm listening for those who have access to a mic. How can I help? Okay, yes. Help me understand. Respect. I respect your hard work. Yes. To find solutions. I love all of that. Thank you, JC. All righty. Thank you for that. Okay. Where can I get your book? You all, my book was originally called or titled The Young Man and the Mentor. It was just I just had it retracted from the previous publisher. It's going up next week. You can find it on Amazon, and it's the same content retitled Five Essentials for Developing Greatness. Five Essentials for Developing Greatness. It should be available on Amazon next week. It should be, but it's the same content. It came out originally 2013, but the title I think was somewhat misleading. But my content is often on for all of I do external speaking as well. I'm always talking about the five essentials for developing greatness, or five essentials every leader must know, do, and teach. So we retitled the book. So it's on Amazon. Thank you for asking. Let's see. Oh, it's my pleasure, JC. My pleasure. Thank you.
Mr. O'Neill,
Yes,
is
Marianne.
the course available is it open to everyone?
The crucial conversations.
Yes, sir.
So the way it works, each organization, so I would encourage you all to now, if your organization does not have individuals that are certified to teach it, I can work with the Crucial Learning Organization and they may give me access. Your company would have to pay a licensure agreement, but they would give me access to come and facilitate it at your organization. At Emory University, anybody that is a staff member can take it at Emory just by presenting your speed type number and getting, of course, authorization from whomever manages your budget. And we do it at cost at Emory. It will only cost you the cost of the content, which is about $275 per person. But if you took it on your own in corporate, it's almost $1,000 for an individual to take this course. I hope that helps. And for those that are at Emory, we have another general enrollment class that comes up before the end of the year. And then for next year, all of the classes that will be added should be added by October. And you can look into the learning management system, Brainier, to find it. All right. What
Thank you so
else?
much.
What else? My pleasure. My pleasure. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns? Things your mom, dad, or mentor may have shared with you about managing those tough conversations. All right, we have about 10 more minutes. I've been doing this for a long time, so I'm here for any questions you all might have. Okay, yes, the AMP. So it's ask, paraphrase, prime, and then the last one, oh, now if a I skipped one. Oh, I'm sorry. Mirror. Here's the mirror. I didn't give you all the M. I knew it was something I was missing. Mirror. Here's something you want to do. If they are not giving you anything, they say I'm fine. You can say something like, "You say you're fine, but your body language and your tone of voice suggests that something is bothering you." Okay. So there we go. So it's AMPP. So ask, mirror, paraphrase, and prime. My pleasure. Thank you for giving me that opportunity to clarify that. I was running so fast through that. All righty. My pleasure. Thank you, Marianne. I appreciate that. Yes, 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 yes. When you have family over for a long time, that can give you plenty of opportunities to practice your crucial conversation skills. And you all watch this, and I tell this in all of my leaders that come through my Essentials of Leadership program. Um, it's once you understand these concepts, you have a choice. And a crucial conversation is like a train wreck that you see happening in slow motion. And you have to ask yourself, am I going to use a prudent mind and respond using these concepts and principles? Or am I just going to act the fool, go all out, and lose my mind up in here? But you can see it coming and you know what you ought to do, but sometimes it feels so good to be so bad. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to be like me. My wife and I were on not a business, a vacation, but I brought up business on the vacation. We were in Montego Bay. And I brought up business. She asked me a question in response to what I shared, and her question had a point on it, and I could feel that point. But I reacted by, what do you mean? What are you trying to say? I came from that perspective, and then she went silent. And I was thinking to myself, this is not what the couple on the brochure looked like. But I had to go back and use my skills of apologizing for my behavior, contrasting what my real intent was or is in that case. And then we were able to enjoy and salvage the rest of our vacation and had a great time. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I got one more comment here that I can't see. Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Patricia. Thank you. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Julie. Carrie, thank you. It did have a point on it, yes. All righty. Is there anything else I may do for you all? Oh, yes, Crucial Conversations. It's a great resource. Yes, yes, that's a great idea. Some organizations that don't do the full course will do a book review with their associates. So that's a great idea. My pleasure, my pleasure. Listen, if you all don't remember anything else I ever say to you, please never forget the fact that there's truly greatness within you because you have something to give. And do remember this. From time to time, I will share with leaders and help them with their teams and things of that nature. But I will pause and ask, so how are you doing? And from time to time, the leader will start crying. I just want to encourage you and say something like, it's about time somebody asked about me. I want you to know that issues are going to come. There's always going to be another email in the inbox, but sometimes you got to just take a Calgon bath. Let me see who's back there in the 70s with me. Can somebody finish this statement? Calgon,
Take me away.
come on with it, Marianne. Yes, 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 yes. So sometimes you got to just take that Calgon bath or do what the flight attendant says, don your mask first so that you'll be in position to assist or help other people. All right, you all, it's been a joy. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you all so much for this opportunity. And
Thank you
hopefully I'll
so
get a
much.
chance to see some of you all in person one day soon.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
Mr. O'Neill. This
Truly
is
my pleasure.
wonderful.
Yes,
My
it's wonderful.
pleasure.
Thank you.
For
My
everyone
pleasure.
who's still present, the recording will be made available later on. Thank you all so much for joining. We look forward to seeing you at next month's webinar. Thank you, Mr. O'Neill.
My pleasure. Do you all want me to hang on for any reason? I can. I've got time.
And stay on for a few more minutes
Okay.
in case.
My pleasure, Brittany. Oh, thank you, Carrie.
All right, Mr. O'Neill, I see that everybody is logging off, so
Thank you all so much. And if you all ever need to reach me, you'll got my email address there. And
Thank
then
you so
outside
much.
of Emory, oh, my pleasure. I can also be reached at williamoneal.com, ONEAL.
that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Y'all take care. Have a great one.
You
You
too.
too.